Hey all, Hipper here. Today I am taking out my favorite Tech Tree Tier 7 cruiser, and that is of course the Martel. This cruiser is just great. Uh, it's just fantastic actually. And I use my Agile build here, a very expensive build when it comes to resources because I use like a fully upgraded Rue and a fully upgraded Bumblebee and a fully upgraded Baltimore. So yeah, it's an expensive build, but it also works extremely well on this ship here. If you like an agile build, that is. You can also go with a pure AP or HE build on this ship and range. That works well as well. But as you all know, I don't do that. I go with an agile build. So the reason I picked this game here is that it was a really enjoyable game. And that is primarily because both teams are pretty equal in terms of like player ability and well, everything that goes into that, I guess. It's games like this that make you remember why you enjoy this game and why you play it so much. There's a world of difference between like a good battle like this and one where you're facing either a team of potatoes or your own team is just an absolute team of potatoes. Another reason I like this particular battle here is that it's a battle where an agile cruiser really gets to exercise and like show what it can do. And we don't end up with like a Kraken and High Caliber and Confederate or anything like that in this ship here, in this battle here, sorry. And we don't like cap a lot. I think we end up capping one cap or something like that. But we do end up first on the team, and we do end up with like a substantial amount of XP. I think it's 3,300, something like that. And we just get that by playing the Agile Cruiser role. Nothing else, really. So in other words, if you know how to play an Agile Cruiser and your team is not like a total bunch of potatoes and they can actually like take advantage of your hard work, you're in for an absolute killer of a game. Most of the time. Of course, you can be unlucky, but that's pretty unlikely. Now here in this case here, I am contemplating whether I want to go around this island and challenge the Bismarck, but I end up thinking that it's probably a little bit too risky. So I decide to turn around, and as no one else has actually taken A yet, then it doesn't really matter too much. So there's no point taking too much of a risk this early in the game. In a Targo, I would probably have gone around the island and sent a wave of torps at that Bismarck and then fallen off detection while I had a look at what was going to happen. But the detection on Martel is much higher than a Targo, so this is the better move in this battle here. But of course, it always depends on the battle, the opponent's ship, your team, and how much health you got, and how many like heals you have left, how many sonars you have left. There's like a lot of variables. So we get an incoming salvo from the Bismarck here, but as soon as that salvo left the guns, I could see that I was going to be able to outrun it. Don't even have to turn. So that's something you learn the more agile cruisers you play. As soon as the bullets leave the gun, you will know if you have to turn or if you can just keep going. In Martel, you can usually keep going because this build here, it goes 43 knots with the speed boost. If you remove the Baltimore inspiration and put Fraser there instead, you will get 46 knots. And that's pretty crazy. And here I'm trying desperately to hit this other Martel here, and you can see it's hard because these the cruisers, they go so fast, and just a little bit of a wiggle with the rudder, and those shells are going to miss. So this Martel here, he's not stupid. He's doing exactly the same play I'm doing. He's going for the flank. in his very fast agile cruiser here, and that's the right play. He's going to back up that Bismarck. Now I could stay here on the flank and battle this guy, but my efforts are better spent elsewhere, so I'll just send some torps his way and then just pray that he just runs into them. And then I'm going to join up with my team here, because he's behind an island over there. He has no clear shot at anybody, and if I leave, then there's no one for him to shoot at. So I'll be able to deal with this Bismarck here, and hopefully have this Bismarck out of the way before I have to deal with the Martel on the flank. So it's like considerations like this you have to always make in the battle. There's a bit of a secondary salvo there, nothing to worry about. And there's another one coming over the mountain there, and of course we're prepared for that. And again, you can see I don't even have to do anything, because if you noticed before, I was targeted by 2 ships, and I know the Bismarck was targeting me because I could see its guns moving, and I was assuming the other one was targeting me as well, and I was right. And the torps we fired before, they found their target on the other Martel, so he is severely disadvantaged now. He took 2 torp hits, and unfortunately, this is the worst thing in an agile cruiser. If you ground yourself on an island, or you hit like a stupid battleship like this, because you are unable to maneuver, you are simply a sitting duck. And I am very lucky that I don't get completely taken out of the game here, because I am in full reverse and nothing is happening. So not really sure what's going on here, but I actually end up having to put the ship in like full speed and somehow get out of this pickle that way. These things are really annoying in the game. And the battleship isn't helping because he's turning the opposite way that I would like him to. And for some reason my bow is stuck in him. So I'm trying to present as small a profile as possible until I can get loose from this guy here. But on the other hand, I'm a very inviting target, and they are all shooting at me. And not really hitting a lot, which is nice, because I don't really have any way of avoiding their shots until now. And we are straight back at it here, already up to 30 knots again, and we still have 3 minutes left on the speed boost. So no problem. I should probably mention that the reason I have Bumblebee on Ru here, my primary captain, is because he extends the speed boost by, in my case, almost, well, actually more than 30 seconds. Which means that in a battle in Martel, you'll be able to have the speed boost on pretty much the whole battle. I think you have a reload between each boost. I think it's about a minute or something, but other than that, you are going max speed. And trust me, that is super important in this ship here. Like, it is an agile cruiser, and it has 2.2 second rudder, and it can go 43 knots. And it has torps, and it has a very fast reload, faster than Wichita. Just by a little bit, but still faster. And the HE on Martel is fearsome. The fire chance is not as high as a Targo, but the guns are very precise, and the AP is also deadly. If you catch another cruiser broadside, you're almost guaranteed a citadel, even more so than you are in the German cruisers, I think. Like, the damage isn't as high because I think Martel does 4,500 AP damage, while Hipper and Eugen does about 6,000. But it seems to be easier to score a citadel with Martel. Here we're challenging the Scharnhorst here, and there's another Myoko coming to join the fun. And he's broadside, and he's 6 kilometers away. And that's a pretty juicy target. But he realizes that, and he angles a little bit, so we're not able to absolutely take him out of the game there, unfortunately. And that's what I mean with, like, the players in this game, they're not stupid. And it's nice to actually see that for a change. in a potato game, that Myoko would just have continued on the trajectory, and I would have probably one-shotted it with like 5 or 6 citadels. But not in this case, and the guy is actually kiting away. So we have a Kutuzov trying to join the fun now, and as you can see, we've been pretty much even on ships the whole game. No team has had an advantage of more than 1 ship at any point. And it's rare you see that as well. So again, we have an incoming salvo here, and I can tell I'll have to wiggle a little bit, but I don't have to move a lot. And he also overshot by a lot there. Okay, it's time to deal with this other Martel over here. I honestly thought he had already been sunk, but he wasn't. So we'll just avoid his feeble shot there, and then we're going to force him out. The other battleship is about to challenge him from the other side, so I'm just waiting for him to reverse out so I can citadel him pretty much. Like, he's in a bad spot there, and that's what happens if you play the island game too long, and if your team's not doing too well. It's a bit of a gamble. So that's why I always play an agile cruiser. And that's him out of the game. Unfortunately, I didn't get him, but doesn't matter as long as someone did. Alright, so the whole point with this was to clean up this part of the map over here, so we can focus on B and then hopefully push further on onto A. Or C, sorry, we already own A. This way we can't really get caught in a crossfire because all the enemy ships are, well, to my front, pretty much. And the Kutuzov is really far away. So now this Southern Dragon here, or Myoko, or whatever you want to call it, is heading in towards B again. And you'll see that we'll just citadel him as soon as we are able to, because this time he's not being as careful as before. So he's running probably to hook up with the Kutuzov over there at C, and obviously we can't let that happen. So we need to take this guy out before then, because it's much easier to deal with these two cruisers by themselves than if they actually get to team up together. And for some reason I don't get the kill here, which I think is a little bit unfair, but so be it. So that's the end of him, and we have a duel with a Kutuzov here. And I'm in an agile cruiser, and he's full health, and I am less than half health. And he keeps shooting, and he doesn't hit at all. And Martel is actually... Martel and Wichita are the only cruisers fast enough, with a fast enough rudder, to outplay a Kutuzov like this. So you see, I've hit him with 2 frontal salvos 3 times, and he's hit me with 1 shell out of the 3 he got off. And this is why an agile cruiser will always win an engagement like this, barring something crazy happening. I mean, I'm telling you, we are at 6 kilometers here, and we're just waiting for him to try to torp me, and of course then we'll citadel him. Just angle precisely the way we should to make his salvo useless. And very nice 2 citadels there. And we're just waiting for those torps there. We have the sonar on. And we'll give him another one, just for good measure. Only 1 citadel there. That's a little bit unfair again, because he really should have died then. But as you can see, we use our great speed and good rudder to simply just turn around the torps. And in an agile cruiser, you always want to be the last cruiser to fire torps. Even if that means simply passing the other cruiser, like at probably 20 meters distance, just enough for the torps to arm, because the agile cruiser will always be able to avoid the torps head on. But if the agile cruiser turns first, you still have a good chance, but you have less of a chance. And even in this case, if I had to take a torp, that would be fine. I would still survive. And I would certainly have torped that Kutuzov then, had that happened. So here I am now capping, and that's pretty much the only capping I'm doing in this game. So that's the cap down, and we're 3 ships up and way up in points, so I am going to keep pushing. Even if I get sunk, it doesn't really matter. We have certainly won this game, and with only 30 seconds left, that's very unlikely. But I might be able to get in a citadel on 2 on this last cruiser that's hiding over here somewhere. And yeah, it was spotted. Just waiting for the salvos to turn up to see where this guy is and how we'll avoid them. And there they are. And this guy is almost out of health, so to send a few salvos his way. And again, I'm cheated out of citadels, and time is out. But this was a very enjoyable battle. A lot of fun, a lot of action, no boring periods or anything like that. So when this happens, count yourself lucky, and as you can see, kills don't matter at all. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you out there.